Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. We're glad you're with us today. It is March 28th, 2025. Please note this event is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Career USA YouTube channel to view in the future. By participating in today's event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning. My name is Jeff Morris, along with Matt Keelan, who's on vacation today, and Walt Glass. Appreciate them filling in for the last year, and I'm going to step in and out over the next couple months just to slowly get myself back into the game here. Back in 2007, I started facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. This group's been around since the late 1990s. Like I said, I took it over in 2007 when the prior leader landed a job. In 2008, I started careerdfw.org, a website to help those unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched careerusa.org to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It's available on Amazon, or I always have copies with me. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team. This meeting's all about networking. It's meeting everybody else is out there. So in addition to sharing your job search information, turn on your camera, make yourself visible, and make sure your full name is in the window so people can see who you are. And if they want to try to connect with you, they can do so. We love to see your smiling face, so please turn on your camera. Our agenda this morning, as always, we're going to start out with success stories. We'll go into job leads. We'll let everybody give their 30-second introductions. Here are a couple committee reports, the interview success workshop, the practice interview team, and the career tip of the week. And then we'll have our main event around 10 o'clock this morning. So we'd like to start off the meeting with success stories. Do we have any good news to share? Any landings? Anybody online? Anybody have a good interview this week they want to talk about? Interviews? Hold on, we'll get the mic to you in just a second here. We're on. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. We'll get a little echo in here. Penn Hoyt, Director of Marketing, B2B Space. 2 weeks ago, got shot down 3 times, and through the third one, was feeling a little bit down. And then later on that afternoon, I got an email from a company that I had originally looked at 6 months ago. And the main recruiter from the company contacted me, wanted to do an interview, did one over the phone. He said, okay, we'll get back to you probably in about 3 days. 5 minutes later, I get a call from his assistant saying, we'd like you to come on in and give a face-to-face interview. I did the face-to-face interview 3 days ago. Thank you, Walt, for helping with the presentation and planning when I took your class on that one, because this interview was a squirm. But held it together, smiled, and made it all the way through it. Was told at the end of that interview it'd probably be about a week to 2 weeks because they had other people to get back. Yesterday, I get an email from the chief people person, or whatever they call them these days, saying, we want you to come in, meet our CEO and our executive team. What 3 days? Here are 3 days. What are you available next week? So I believe it would be the final round of interviews next week, because I don't know who else you would see after you see the CEO and the executive team, but fingers are crossed. Hard, very hard right now, but just want to say, it's a long haul. It's a slog. It isn't fun, but it's one day, and it's one foot in front of the other. Keep moving, keep the smile on your face, and keep going, and talk to people. Come to these meetings and talk to people. It's much better than living under a rock, and your skin doesn't look so pale. So
great, congratulations.
Thank you, Penn. Do you know what day of the week Wednesday, okay. So everybody be thinking Wednesday about Penn.
That's great. Anybody else? All right, we'll move on here. Okay, landings. What we'd like for everybody to do who's online right now, open up the chat window and put in your name, what job title you're looking for, where you need target companies at, and where you have target companies, where you have companies that you have contacts at, so you can maybe help somebody else. And for those, as you start to do your 30 seconds, please repeat your name at the very, very end. So we'll give you a few seconds. We'll give you a couple minutes to do that. And why don't if everybody here in person will come up to the computer, we'll have to move the screen up a little bit so we can see you correctly. And you can give your 30-second introductions.
I am Kathy Meredith, and I am a project manager, product owner, and business analyst, have many talents under my belt. And I am looking for a position within travel, travel agency, airline, have all of that under my belt and looking for a position. And I'm Kathy Meredith. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Mike Belzil. So I'm looking for a senior director of product role. I need contacts at Keurig Dr. Pepper, Frito-Lay, or HEB. So I have contacts at Walmart, Epsilon, and Circana. My name is Mike Belzil.
Thank you, Mike.
Hello, I'm Sean Toy. I'm a supply chain director looking for my next opportunity. My target company right now is Smith and Nephew. I have contacts at Alcon Laboratories and to less extent Medtronic. My name is Sean Toy. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Michael Garber. I'm looking for a position as a IT programmer project manager. I have contacts at Kyndryl. My name is Michael Garber.
Good morning. My name is Penn. That's like what you write with an extra N, Hoyt. I'm a director of marketing in the B2B space. I am looking for contacts at Icon to help me out with my big interview coming up next week. I have contacts at various telecom companies, as long as other companies. I've got a lot of LinkedIn connections. I'm more than happy to help anyone out. Again, my name is Penn Hoyt.
Thank you, Ken.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hilbert Telonzia. I'm a software developer engineer in test. I'm looking for a position at the Citibank and General Financial. My name is Hilbert Telonzia. General Motor Financial. I'm talking about GM Financial.
Great.
The mic in our room is muted. Jeff?
Y'all are muted. We can't hear anybody.
Jeff, the mic in the room is muted.
We still can't hear anybody that's speaking.
Yeah, just joined and happened to have the same issue here.
Professional working towards becoming a licensed financial advisor. I'm a consummate networker and connect people to people, helping people and with financial solutions. Let me help make sense of dollars for you and your business. My name is Jason Irish.
Thank you, Jason.
Feedback.
Good morning. My name is Jenny Holcomb. I'm a dynamic sales and marketing director, and I sing with Plano Civic Chorus. And my job is to bring your team into tune with your goals. I have a contact of Army Air Force Exchange Service, and my target company is Freeman Events. Again, my name is Jenny Holcomb.
Thank you, Jenny. All right, let's go. Did we get everybody here? Yeah, everybody here. Let me go online. How about Andrea Rusk?
Hi, good morning. I'm Andy Rust. I'm looking for a professional development training specialist role. I need contacts at McKesson, Everway, which is formerly known as N2Y, or Amira Learning. I don't have any contacts at this time. My name is Andy Rust.
Great. Kathleen Dixon.
Hello, I am Kathleen Dixon. I am a VP of Sales and Operations in Senior Living or Healthcare. My target companies this week is 12 Oaks Senior Living. And I have contacts in most senior living and several retail outlets like Total Wine. My name is Kathleen Dixon.
Thank you. Michelle Hawk.
Good morning, everyone. This is Michelle Hawk. I have over 15 years of experience in accounts receivable, cash posting, as well as recently I've gained 3 years of dental surgeon insurance verification. I'm looking for a position at CVS to go back into pharmacy distribution. If anybody has a contact in there, at least even a recruiter. This is Michelle Hawk. Thanks.
Thank you. Kevin Nelson.
Hi, my name's Kevin Nelson. I'm looking for a position in manufacturing operations, such as planning or scheduling or buying or inventory control. My target companies are Raytheon or Lockheed Martin. And my name's Kevin Nelson.
Thank you. Steve Rohan.
Yes, my name is Steve Rowan. I'm a .NET developer. I've retired, but I like to come to these meetings to keep up with what's going on in the job world. My name is Steve. Oh, I'm looking for. I've got contacts at GM Financial and Pfizer and the VA. My name is Steve Rowan.
Thank you, Steve. Michael Wilk.
Good morning. I am Michael Wilk, a senior software quality engineer with extensive leadership and problem resolution experience in aerospace and defense, ensuring process compliance, quality product development, and customer satisfaction. I'm a veteran with the clearance. I'm looking for contacts in SNC and Collins Aerospace. My name is Michael Wilk. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Anthony.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Archery, Senior Retail Operationist. I help company drive robust sales, at the same time, great profits, and reduce costs at the same time. Anthony Archery.
Thank you. Callum.
Hi, my name's Callum Keenan. I'm a quality management and process improvement expert. I'm looking at the aerospace and defense companies in the Metroplex, and I have contacts at Elbit America, where I spent the last 20 years. My name is Callum Keenan.
Thank you. Michael Wilk. Oh, we already do you, Michael. All right, sorry about that. Carol Palmer.
Good morning. My name is Carol Palmer. I began my career within pharma, driving projects, providing analytical services for the product development group, learned how to lead teams, and learned from the teams as well. I transitioned into the nonprofit space, focused on strategic planning and organizational change, where I did large-scale transformations and learned the power of engaging people in the change process. And now I'd like to bring that expertise back into pharma or science adjacent fields, as well as potentially staying within nonprofit and leverage all of those experiences. I'm Carol Palmer. Happy to connect. Thank you.
Thank you. Carolyn Pridemore.
Pridemore. Hi, I'm Carolyn Pridemore. I am looking for an HR manager or benefit manager role. I have extensive experience in human resources with a strong focus on benefits, compensation, performance management. I am looking for contacts at Dr. Pepper or Texas Instruments. I do have contacts at Frito-Lay and Toyota. My name is Carolyn Pridemore.
Thank you. Charles Coleman.
Good morning. I'm Charles Coleman. I'm a director of program management. I've managed $1.5 billion projects, primarily for Fortune 100 clients across 6 continents and diversified industries such as retail, financial, and IT. I'm looking for contacts at Toshiba and Lumen. I do have contacts at NCR and HIASA. I'm Charles Coleman.
Thank you. Don Chaplin.
Yes, I'm Don Champlin. I'm an enterprise transformation consulting advisor. I am been setting contacts. I'm working on a contact right now that I really can't disclose because it's got some other DOJ and DOD entities. But my position, the way I'm working is I'm working with things to get into large corporations and medium corporations at the C level because of my background and I'm Don Champlin.
Thank you, Don. George Workins.
Hi, my name is George Workins. I'm looking for a job. I'm in sales, digital transformation. I'm looking for public and private. I work with government agencies as well as private corporations. And I'm looking for, like I said, a digital transformation job in those industries. My name is George Workins. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathleen Dixon.
She already went.
No,
Already
that was,
went.
you already went. Okay, sorry. Kevin Nelson. Hello, Kevin. All right, let's go to Christine Taylor.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kristen Taylor, and I'm an HR generalist looking for an opportunity to serve as a human resources benefits business partner. I have a generalist background, so I know a little bit about everything within the human resources workforce. I have dedicated my career to higher education, so if you are interested in looking into that as an industry, I'll be glad to chat with you. I am currently looking at McKesson, Caterpillar, or UT Southwestern as my target companies. My name is Kristen Taylor.
Thank you. Liz Russell.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Liz Russell. I have extensive background in telecommunications, corporate training. I'm looking for training opportunities because that's where my background lies, is in training. Currently, some of the contacts that I would have in my LinkedIn profile are from the AT&T Corporation. And again, my name is Liz Russell.
Thank you. Michael Wilk. Oh, we already went. All right. Sorry about Miguel Castillo.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Miguel Castillo. I'm looking for a VP or a director finance job at Fortune 500 companies. Mostly my experience has been in the FP&A space. Need contacts at Toyota and Caterpillar. I have contacts at American Airlines and Amazon, where I most recently worked. My name is Miguel Castillo.
Thank you. Randall Christopher.
Hi, good morning. My name is Randall Christopher. I'm looking for a logistics process improvement position with a focus on audit in the technology industry. My current target companies this week are Honeywell and Ericsson, and I have contact information at Samsung Electronics America. Again, my name is Randall Christopher.
Thank you. Rosina.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I'm your Career Tip of the Week host. I'm looking for a position as a Senior Talent Acquisition Partner or Senior Recruiter position. I need contacts at Goldman Sachs, Deloitte, Delta Dental, Unum Dental, MetLife, ADP, USAA, TIAA, or Ericsson. I have contacts across a variety of different industries and companies, so as I hear them, I'll reach out to you directly. And again, my name is Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Partner or Senior Recruiter position.
Great. Thank you very much. Steve Stanton.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Stanton. I'm a serial expat, becoming a texpat, moving to Frisco from way up north in about a month and a half, 2 months. I don't really have too many contacts in Texas, but if you need anyone in New York or Dubai or Hong Kong, I'm your guy. I have a finance and accounting background. I'm looking for contacts at Fidelity or Morgan or JP Morgan or any really. The job I'm looking for is a chief of staff or a COO or a deputy chief of staff just for a department, and anywhere where executives need a good right hand who's broadly skilled to execute and get things done across functions. So please reach out. Good to meet you. Thank you for welcoming me. My name is Steve Stanton. See you soon.
Thank you, Steve. Anybody else? Did I miss anybody else online?
Can I go?
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kathy Dixon. I'm a senior technical writer with extensive experience documenting hardware and application and system software, including APIs and processes and procedures. Because of my broad industry experience, I'm adaptable to many companies and don't really have target companies. My most recent experience is writing user guides for hardware and software in the fuel and convenience store industry with 7-Eleven and Circle K, but with what those two companies are going through, I don't think I can offer any connections. However, if I hear of somebody that has a connection where I've worked in the past, I'll be happy to reach out. Thank you. Kathy Dixon, Senior Technical Writer.
Great. Anybody else? Okay. We're going to bring thoughts to see.
Thought you escaped, huh? You thought.
Hey everyone, I'm Carrie Padilla. It's kind of echoing. Is that all right? It's Friday. I have a passion for managing projects and driving them to completion. I don't really have any target companies. Well, I did, but I applied. I was told no. So I got to start again. I'm Carrie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just to let the people in the room know, we are doing some different things with sound today, so we'll have a little bit different experience.
All righty.
Can I make an announcement?
Yes. Go ahead.
Hey, my company had a mass layoff back in July 1st, and they're going to start rehiring again next week for April 1st. But they did let go most of HR, and they are restructuring HR right now. For those that are in HR, contact US Oral Surgery. They are third party.
All right. Thank you. Any recruiters online? Do you see anybody?
I don't see any recruiters today.
All right. We'll move on. Walt, talk about the interview success workshop.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Walt Glass. And so I offer a free service on interviewing skills. It is called the Interview Success Workshop. A successful interview, by my definition, is where we are able to illustrate and demonstrate who we are, what we do, and how we combine those to the value we bring, how we help. I developed this back in 2000 when I really screwed up an interview. I was asked one question and it went downhill from there. So I said, I better do some work on my interviewing skills. And so I've developed a workshop. It's free. All you have to do is look at the About section on LinkedIn, and it details that. If you'd like to register for the workshop, just send an email to my Yahoo email address. It's on my banner page as well. And if there's a QR code on the screen, that will begin an email to me, to my Yahoo email address to register. Right now, I'm having to wait list several people, so I'm considering some other options to get people through the process a little bit quicker. And so once I make a decision, I'll let the participants know about that. And the idea is to let observers in. And well, I'll have to find people who agree to having observers into the workshop as part of that process. But anyway, that's my thoughts right now. So be glad to have you participate, because this is one where you don't have to have a mock interview. It's a practice interview, yes, and it's a learning interview primarily. And the whole objective is to move you from just simply responding to selling. And we're selling those three elements. I am adept. So if you agree that that's it, then this is the workshop for you. You can simply register and I'll call it Learning Without Squirming. Well, I enjoy giving reviews about how we can have successful job interviews. So give the workshop a turn, showing how we can practice and learn, and win the job and chase away those boo-hoos. And remember, in celebration, it's Krispy Kreme. You can choose.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the practice interview team. They meet in person on the first, second, third, and fifth Wednesdays of the month. This past Wednesday, they were meeting online, but they'll be back in person the next few weeks. They meet right here in this room at Christ United Methodist Church at the corner of Parker and Coit. They're here from 1 to 3 o'clock. This is a great way to practice your interviewing skills. You do not want to practice your interviewing skills in front of a real interview. Come practice, because the nice thing here is the people who interview you will give you feedback, and you don't get feedback when you go in for the real job. All you ever hear is maybe a no. So come here, great to practice. You do not need to, we always recommend you come watch a couple interviews before you sign up to do it. You will learn things just by watching other people being interviewed. All you need to do is send a resume and a job description to dallaspitcrew@gmail.com. And if you want more information, go to dallaspitcrew.com. Yes.
I'm hearing that that there's not any availability for the picker until the beginning of May. Can anyone confirm this?
From what I understand, there is a lot of demand right now.
The question was about the demand for the registration for the pit crew. And yes, it is stacked up. Sign up now.
Yes.
Practice early, practice often.
Right. And Ron Layton, who leads the pit crew, will be here with us next. He's going to come next Friday to talk. All right. It's time for the career tip of the week. Rosanna, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. All right. This week's career tip of the week is professional networking event etiquette, do's and don'ts. So, professional networking events, they're vital to our career development and business growth. They provide opportunities for connection, knowledge sharing, and exploring new avenues. However, how you conduct yourself significantly impacts the impressions you leave and the relationships you build. Proper etiquette is crucial for maximizing these opportunities. So there's a couple of different ways to approach this. There's preparation etiquette, appearance and first impression etiquette, interaction etiquette. conversation etiquette, and follow-up etiquette. So with preparation etiquette, the do's are research the event and its attendees. Understand the event's purpose helps you tailor conversations. Identifying the key attendees allows for targeted interactions, and preparing talking points and questions fosters meaningful engagement. Your don't arrive unprepared. Avoid attending without clear objectives. Don't skip last minute review of agendas or attendee lists, and don't prevent awkward interactions by having, you can prevent awkward interactions by having a plan. So proper preparation demonstrates professionalism and eagerness, setting the stage for productive interactions. Under appearance and first impressions, you do want to dress appropriately. Match the event's dress code. Choose professional and comfortable clothing and pay attention for grooming. Don't overdo or underdo your outfit. Avoid overly casual clothing. Steer clear of excessive accessories and don't wear inappropriate attire. Appropriate attire conveys respect and professionalism, establishing a strong foundation for connections. For interaction etiquette, you do want to offer a firm handshake and maintain eye contact. A firm handshake signals confidence. Eye contact shows respect and interest, and add a smile to appear welcoming. Don't dominate the conversation. Avoid monologues and allow others to contribute. Don't interrupt, and watch for nonverbal cues. Balanced interaction fosters mutual benefit and leaves a positive impression. For conversation etiquette, you do want to ask open-ended questions. Encourage detailed responses, show genuine curiosity, and follow up thoughtfully. Don't interrupt or talk over others. Listen actively, pause before speaking, respect turn taking. Open-ended questions will promote deeper exchanges, while avoiding interruptions ensures respect and connection. And follow-up etiquette. Do send a follow-up message. Personalize your message, express gratitude, include a call to action. And don't delay the follow-up. Follow up within 48 hours, avoid generic messages, and don't overwhelm them. Timely and personalized follow-ups reinforce connections and open doors for further collaboration. So for a detailed breakdown of key etiquette points, again, preparation, that is thorough research in the event, speakers, and attendees. That's all critical and essential. Setting clear objectives and ensures focused networking, and last-minute preparation can lead to missed opportunities and a lack of confidence. For your appearance, adhering to the event's dress code demonstrates respect. Comfortable, professional attire allows for confident interaction, and proper grooming enhances the overall professional image. Interaction, a firm handshake and sustained eye contact establish confidence and sincerity. Balancing speaking and listening is vital for building relationships, and nonverbal communication should be observed. Avoid only talking about yourself. For conversation, open-ended questions encourage deeper, more engaging discussions. Active listening and respectful turn-taking show genuine interest. Focus on the other person's interests and avoid conversational subjects. And for follow-up, prompt, personalized follow-ups reinforce connections and demonstrate professionalism. Generic messages and delayed responses can diminish the impact of networking efforts and offer a next step, such as a LinkedIn connection. So please note that this article, it does focus primarily on in-person do's and don'ts, yet this is also, it will apply to how you behave online in Zoom chats and messages that you send to everyone and individuals in chat as well. So in conclusion, mastering professional networking events etiquette is critical and crucial for building meaningful relationships and advancing careers. Adhering to the do's and don'ts outlined ensures that interactions are positive and lasting. Successful networking is about cultivating genuine relationships that lead to new opportunities and growth. And whether a novice or a seasoned professional, These etiquette tips maximize the value of every interaction and build a strong professional network. Again, this is the career tip of the week for March 28th, and it is professional networking event, etiquette, do's and don'ts. Have a great, oh, I'm sorry. And this article is by rootnetworking.com. So have a fantastic weekend, everybody.
Rosina, thank you very, very much. Applause, applause, applause. All right, after our meeting today, come join us for lunch. We got to go eat someplace. So today we're going to go to Jason's Deli. It's at the northeast corner of Parker and Preston, 4801 West Parker Road. Come join us at 11:45. And for those online, if you want to come get a good baked potato or a good sandwich or a salad bar, come join us at Jason's today at 11:45.
Nice. Don't forget the ice cream.
The ice cream, yes, that's why I'm going. The ice cream with the chocolate sauce on top. All right, it's time for our main event. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just raise your hand, or even better, enter your questions in the chat window, and I will get those to our speaker as questions come up. Today, let's see here. Today, our speaker is Mina Brown. I've known Mina for, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years. It's been a long time. And she's got a book that I always recommend. It's called Be Sharp. It's a great book. The first half of the book is all about your 30-second presentation. And the second half of the book is all about the one-page bio. And it's one of the 3 books I recommend everybody have in their job search. So, Mina, thank you for being with us. And I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I had really hoped to be there in person. My month and week and day has collapsed. So thank you for allowing me to be virtual. And I look forward to talking to you guys, as Jeff said. And Jeff, it's good to see you, by the way. Let's make this interactive. If you have questions as we go through, I don't want to run over time. So we may have to parking lot 1 or 2, but please think about how this is working for you, what's helpful to you. Now my video just went down to just me. Is that intentional?
Well, I put it there until you share your presentation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I thought I had. I apologize. Bear with me. Share. Here we go. Here we go. All right. We good?
We're good.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. One of the things, and I've done this several times, so I don't know if any of you guys are repeat customers or not, but just wanted to say that I'm evolving this a little bit, and I want to make a couple of points as we go into it about use of AI and some other things. But I really tell you, it is for networking purposes, especially, and for introduction purposes. The bio is a really excellent tool, and even creating it is an excellent tool for you to be thinking about how you want to talk about yourself and what's important for you to say. So thanks again to North Dallas Career Focus Group, and for Jeff and the CFW or DFW Career Group for inviting me back. So let's talk about, why do you need a bio? Can you hear me okay, Jeff? Okay, good. Why do you need a bio? You guys have a resume, you have LinkedIn, you have all these other tools and things that you've probably been working on. I will tell you, I think, and you've heard this over and over again from Career DFW, networking is absolutely critical, even at an hourly job, a senior executive job, and everything in between. Most people, and you should hear my daughter and my son talk about they're networking because my son-in-law and my daughter are both looking for a job right now. And the first thing they tell me is, I found this person, I found that person, and this person introduced me to that person, and I found this job through this other person. So networking is just the threads of how you're going to get introductions. They're not going to get you the job, but they might help you get a foot in the door, a telephone call, a meeting of some sort, which is where, as we know, the first few seconds of any interaction sets a first impression. So having a first impression that is polished and well done is a really effective tool. I would tell you, for not just for networking, but for your career, you want to have a bio that you maintain, that you keep up to date, that you polish your story a little bit as you go along. I'd say once a year, just read through it and see what you can freshen up, and having it for the rest of your career. It's good internal networking with colleagues in other departments, other divisions. It's external networking for an event like a Career DFW or any other networking event. I appreciated some of the tips that were being shared earlier as I joined. And having your bio is the tool I would recommend you follow up with. And here's why. It tells your story. And I don't know how many of you have been paying attention to some of the commentary in the last couple of years. We are living in an attention economy. I thought this was really interesting. There's a couple of books I've read about it. We are not necessarily living in a dollars and cents economy as much as an attention economy. How much time can we get in front of somebody? How much time can we take, have their focus? And a bio is a short story. It's a little bitty document that tells your story in 3 or 4 paragraphs. I recommend 4 paragraphs. But it's short. It should be engaging. You don't want it to be boring. It is like catnip. It's the bait that gets somebody to want to maybe talk to you a little bit more. You don't put everything into a bio. You cherry pick the few things that you want to put in a bio. And then the purpose of that one pager is to get somebody to be more interested in you. And so as we go along, if you have a question, if you're online, put your hand up. If you're in the room, Jeff will help me monitor that. So stop and ask any questions if you would like to. What's the difference between when to use a bio versus a resume? When you want to communicate your story in a very short prose, they're full sentences, they're not phrases, but concisely with emphasis. It's almost like you could put those little emphasis words like we do in text messages in your bio that would say, this is the most important thing for you to know about me. And it helps you connect the dots. Sometimes we have resumes that are, maybe we have a gap in a job cycle, or maybe we have one job that doesn't quite make sense to the next job. But this is where in your prose, you can tell your story about some of the most important transitions or the most important new jobs that you did. And it's also really helpful when you're in a job, in a company, when you're circulating your resume, that kind of clues in people that I am looking for a job. But there are ways to network with a bio that doesn't send that red flag warning all the way up and says, okay, well, they're interested in meeting me. They have a narrative that tells me a little bit about them. So there's a lot of opportunity to use a bio when the resume wouldn't be quite the right document. So the difference between the two, basically, the resume, and like I said a minute ago, kind of announces that you're in the job market. And that may not, sometimes it's not even intentional. It's that some people just don't quite know what other document to use. All they really have is a resume that's being tweaked or updated, and that's their go-to document. Having a bio is much more broadly applicable. It applies to a much wider sense of who you're talking to, your situation that you're communicating, and it's much better for just a general overarching public. I've had throat problems, so I'm hoping I saved my voice here. It doesn't quite send the big announcement out. I'm open to job marking. The resume gives very important data, facts, information. They're bullet points. It's about your accomplishments, about your credentials. It might label accomplishments by particular jobs, and then the sequence of jobs, maybe in a company or from one company to another, how you can demonstrate growth in the job or promotions or things like that. So those are in your resume. The highlights of those probably should be in your bio, but just the ones that are the most important. And you put spin on it. You can clarify or put some angles at it that are either more playful or more descriptive that you probably wouldn't do in a resume. The resume is just give me the facts, ma'am, kind of a document. Most people don't really sit down and read a resume word for word, page 1, page 2, and sometimes with electronic transmissions, they can be longer than 2 pages. They can be 3. I wouldn't go overboard, but in general, they're not really read word for word, maybe until the interviewer is getting ready to interview you, and they're going to have your resume, and they're going to look at it closely, maybe hopefully word for word, so it fills in gaps for them. But on a general networking, general interviewing, talking to people, introducing yourself to new people, your bio is the one that will be easier to communicate what you want to communicate. And it's easy to read. It's a narrative. I recommend not putting it in single space. Leave a little white space in between the lines. Make the font more readable. I think a lot of resumes end up in a 10-point font, which I find acceptable, but at the borderline to a little small. But you can do a bio in 11 or 12-point font, open up the space, and then it makes it much more attractive and engaging to read. So they're easy to read, and they're more likely to be read. A resume, usually 2 pages, packed in there, data packed in there, but just the most important data. Don't go overboard with all those bullet points. Just pick the best ones. But then a bio is 1 page, 4 paragraph, a little bit wider font, and at most 300 to 400 words, 300 to 400 words. And you can start gauging those words by testing your paragraphs as you go along and checking the number of words and making sure that you're not getting too verbose and blah, 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 and stuff, because less is more. The more you say, the less every single word, every dot of ink on that page is less valuable. So the less you say, the more important each one of the lines and each one of the words are. The resume is also a search tool, internal, external. Most people have their resume somewhere. Even your LinkedIn profile is structured kind of like a resume. You've got your jobs. You can put information in there from what year to another. You can put accomplishments. You can even go into LinkedIn. And if I wanted to go into Jeff's LinkedIn, I could print out his resume from the LinkedIn profile, and it'll have the job history. It'll have his basic information. So that's a resume is supposed to provide that kind of data. In a bio, it's a multi-purpose. Yes, it's good for job search, but it's good for a whole bunch of other applications too. I have a slide later on that shows you an array of different applications where a bio is the perfect tool, and you wouldn't imagine using a resume in those things. Everybody has a resume. Usually in today's world, I'm hoping more and more people have bios. I've seen more, but I wouldn't say that everybody has one. And I think that's why I'm invited back to introduce it. I think it is an important tool. Even if you have one, it can maybe be spiced up a little bit or trimmed a little bit, or you could do some things to make it better. But it isn't something that is the one document that everybody has. That would be something that I think in many cases can make you a standout candidate because you've given some thought and you've articulated in a short, readable way who you are and what your contributions can be to the new opportunity. And then finally, your resume helps you sort the details. I don't know, and Jeff, I don't know if you agree with me or not. I am not a fan of functional resumes. This was my accounting experience. This was my sales experience. This was my operations experience. Most recruiters, in fact, I don't know a single recruiter that's talked to me that says that they like a functional resume. They want to see a chronological resume, year, all the years lined up, going back just so far. You don't need to go back until you were born, just the last maybe 10 years or plus or minus, depending on what jobs land where. But resumes are chronological, and recruiters want to see them chronological. They don't, the recruiters have told me if they see a functional resume, they immediately are suspicious that there's something that's being buried or obfuscated or kind of not being obvious, because a functional resume is hard to figure out from what to what to what to what. So a resume gives you those details chronologically and helps you organize your accomplishments and experience. The bio takes that and puts it into a story. I know you had a presentation, I think a few weeks ago from Paula, right? About the storyline. I love that process, and doing a storyline gets you ready for an interview just masterfully. And you can use that process of having created your storyline from this role to this opportunity, from this opportunity to this excellent experience. And this one was a little bit of a risk, and this is why I took it, and then I moved to here. That story can help feed important information into your bio. So the bio is the storytelling process, but it's not long. It's got, I don't even know if this exists anymore, but my sweet father read Reader's Digest. I mean, I'm thinking, how do you read a book like Moby Dick in 17 pages in a Reader's Digest? My sweet dad. And he consumed his Reader's Digest. Well, your bio is a Reader's Digest version of your resume and of your storyline. I'll bet nobody. Do you think, Jeff, how many people know what a Reader's Digest is? Yeah, a few. I have some older parents, or maybe as old as me. So that's the idea of putting things into short, brief storytelling of what's the most important. Just the layout, we're not going to spend any time on this, but this just to give you a visual. The resume, you have your name and contact information. You've got your headliner, some positioning paragraph, and some keywords up in that section. And then you've got sequencing, like I said, a chronological, most current job, and then previous, and then education and credentials on the bottom. And then I just didn't show it here, but underneath that might be public service or community service or other community activities or leadership activities might be underneath your credentials. But that's the way a resume kind of lays out. It's structured. It should be. Use the space well. I mean, this is prime real estate. So your resume needs to really just put the most important things on it with years, usually the years out to the right column. And you learn how to use those little left indent things, the left tabs, put those dates out there on the right. And then the bio, unlike the resume, the bio is a perfect place to put your picture. You've got your picture on LinkedIn. It's not usually something, some people do it on their resume, and it's not, the resume fairy isn't going to come down and knock you over the head. I think whatever you decide to do with it is fine. But the bio, typically, there is an expectation that you might put your picture, a nice headshot. Paula does a really great thing on headshots too, a nice headshot on your bio. And then you have a few little keywords and headlines over on the right. I don't recommend, see, the contact information's up in your header on the resume. I would put it at the bottom in a footer on your bio. You don't really need to be trying to call attention to the contact information, but it needs to be there. Why would you hand somebody a bio if they didn't know how to contact you? So it should be there, even if it's just a phone number or an email or both. And then these days, I'd say put your LinkedIn URL on the bottom as well. And then there's 4 paragraphs, and we're going to talk about those 4 paragraphs. You've got the overarching paragraph. You've got one paragraph about the most recent good juicy stuff. You've got 1 paragraph. Believe me, you can do it in 1 paragraph. That's everything else from the beginning of time to where you stopped in the second paragraph. And then at the bottom is your credentials. And I would say in a bio, you don't necessarily include things like community service, et cetera, unless they're eye-popping. That's where, if you were the president of the Leadership Texas or whatever, that would be a good place to put the credential. I would put it in there. But other than that, remember that bio is 1 page, 300 or 400 words. Do not waste one little millimeter of that page for something that isn't the most important thing for people to know about you. So that's kind of the layout. I'm wondering what makes some bios not good. I mean, first of all, and I need to get my, I want to see everybody online if it's best I can. How many of you have a bio? Just have a bio that you have used in networking? Okay, 1 or 2. There was 1 or 2, Jeff, at the 3, 4. Okay, a handful. Okay, and a iffy. Okay, good, and a thumbs up down there. So, boy, I've got the perfect audience, man. You guys are going to come out today with a document most of you don't have yet. So this is good news to me, boy. So here's, I will say, in neuroscience, we learned that our brain has a negative bias. And I was listening to the article when I signed on, and this is not criticizing the person reading the article, and it's not really criticizing the person writing the article, but remember this, our brain has a negative bias, and our brain also discounts things like don'ts. Like we don't process that neurologically the same way as we process if I said to Jeff, don't stump your toe or don't walk into that wall. What our brain actually hears drops off the don'ts. And it's like stump your toe or walk into the wall. And so our brain processes it without the negative. And so I have learned in coaching, because I've been coaching for 28 years, that we try to structure things in the positive. It flipped things from a negative to a positive. So if you were giving somebody some guidance or direction, then instead of don't do this, what's the opposite of that? Do this. And so in a lot of resumes, sometimes they're boring because they have a negative slant, or it's just blah, 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 blah. I did this, I did that, I went here, I got this award. Look, nobody wants to read a Reader's Digest article that's boring. I mean, for one thing, it's already condensed. Don't make it even more boring. I mean, you got to put some fluff in there, and you got to make it positive and attractive and drive toward what we want to know about people. So and it can be just facts. I did this. I was that. This was my title. I accomplished this, and I saved this much money, and I got this award. You know, that's just, let's get creative, folks. Let's, on a bio, it's really telling your story in a way that is, we go back to the attention economy, entertaining. Imagine that, a career document that could be entertaining. Well, we are fighting for attention. Every one of us, every minute of the day, in a job search, in our careers, in building a business and being a business owner, we are fighting for attention. So don't let that document be just blah, blah, blah. Make it interesting. Sometimes they're too long, they're single spaced, they're crammed in, they're 10-point font, there's 600 words, and they're, I mean, it's got to be lighten up, loosen up, take more words out. Challenge yourself. Get rid of a lot of conjunctions. I'm a big fan of simple sentences, a subject, an object, and period. So watch out for those long, complex, compound sentences. We can write in a compound sentence better than we can speak in those phrases. So remember, you're going to be talking to your bio when somebody says, well, tell me about yourself. And I'm sure you've had some opportunities to work with that model. And it needs to be short and sweet. You cannot say a compound, complex 4-line sentence come out of your mouth. People don't follow you. They're going to lose you about the 9th or 10th word. 7 is a magic number. 7 is where our brain starts to file it back into the C drive. So think of short sentences, not compound, and make them juicy. Use interesting words. Get that the thesaurus out and look for words that are the same thing as accomplished or created, or look for fun words. Use common language too. There's nothing that says your bio has to be a literary work of art. It doesn't need to be. It needs to communicate. It needs to speak for you. So not too short, not too long. That sounds like the 3 bears, doesn't it? Not too big, not too small. We need to be mama bear, whatever. And then really having a clear objective. And what I mean by a clear objective is what's the message you want to communicate? And it's about the here and now, who you are right now, and the person you're bringing to the table, the skills and values you're bringing to the table. That's what you want to be stinging all over the page. And then you need to be sure the heck you know who you're writing it for. Who's your audience? I mean, this document is like a little marketing flyer. And who is your target customer in this case? What do they care about? Put yourself over there in the other chair, go to that other building. What do they care about? What matters for them as you're introducing yourself? So I feel a little different about the bio from the resume, because I think you can tweak your bio every day, all day long, and make it fit your target audience no matter what. The resume, I would say, don't get too edit happy with your resume, because your resume is out there in the public domain on your LinkedIn and other places. And if you have 15 different versions of your resume, they could cross paths at various times, and people are going to, what's going on? So just be discriminating about how many changes you do to your resume. But your bio is free game. Remember, it's your story, and your story can get more and more flavor, and it can get more and more interest, and just make sure that it is aimed at your audience. Who are you writing this to? So let's go to what is the structure. And I'm going to go through each of these 4 paragraphs. And I'm going to have you guys write a little bit. I know we want to manage our time well, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to write. So it's 1 page. It is not 2. And if your bio is 2 pages, then you are saying too much. It needs to be 1 crisp, clear, understandable, common language. Use acronyms sparingly. If you know your audience all know what that acronym is, great, go for it. But there may be somebody you're connecting with in a networking opportunity who doesn't know what that acronym is. So just be careful with code words in your industry unless you really are confident that that's something your audience is looking for. There's a code word that's going to be part of the key to unlock the door, and that your audience understands different aspects. So it's 4 paragraphs. I do recommend putting a heading. We'll talk about that. Of course, your name, title, tagline, a handful of keywords, they should be compatible with and mirror things that are on your resume. I mean, you don't want your bio saying I'm an operator and your resume saying I'm a marketing analyst. I mean, that's just like, who is this person? You know, a two-headed monster. So they're going to be compatible, but I think you can use some flexibility in that. But typically those keywords are frequently the same. This is where a headshot comes in. Sorry, I hope I don't lose my voice. And then it's 4 paragraphs. And I'll say it, you'll probably go to bed tonight hearing me say, make it wow, make it interesting, make it your real good short story that people want to read. Starts with a positioning paragraph, and we'll go through what that is. And it's basically, who are you right now? Who are you right now? Standing here, sitting in your chair right now, who are you? The second paragraph is, in my most recent job or the prior role, XYZ, and put a couple of real home runs to describe why you were an ace in that, or why people appreciated you in that. We all have our brand we want to kick into. The third paragraph, yes, you can, is everything else. And the last paragraph are your credentials. They need to know your credentials, and we'll talk a little bit about that. It's not just, do I have a degree or do I have a certification? It's basically, how am I fully qualified for the technical side of this job? And then I would, like I said, I'd put the contact information in a footer. All right, so let's talk about the positioning paragraph. I'll have to come back, or you'll have to get Paula to come back and do another, tell me about yourself. If you don't do that yourself, Jeff knows this so well, he could do this in his sleep. But in your positioning paragraph, it is literally the answer to tell me about yourself. It is the answer to that. And in our book, which Jeff, thank God, love him, has supported us for years, is 3 sentences, actually 4 sentences, but 3 factors. Your essence factor, who you are. Just Mina is an executive coach and coach education facilitator, having been a business executive and coach for 28 years. It's just, who are you? It can be a little sexy, but you got to be sure in that first or second sentence you nail down like just what is the box you are in, so that people know this is somebody that opened the door, because that is the kind of person I would be interested in. I might want to interview, or I certainly want to introduce to John. And so that first sentence, the most important, and I gave an example here. Andrew is a business savvy human resources manager with extensive background in compensation, benefits, and training. Who is Andrew? We know what box he's in, right? Not that we want to put ourselves in a box. That sounds really awful, doesn't it? But yeah, I mean, it's like, and I used to describe this when I gave the presentations about what file cabinet is he in, what file drawer is he in, and what file folder is he in. So this tells you human resources, business, background in comp, benefits, and training. So that tells you who this person is, right? So you're not too confused about that. You've put a stake in the ground around who I am. The second thing is the balance of the paragraph then just captures their imagination. He was awarded the employee or the leader of the year for his a complete reengineering of the employee benefits, blah, 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 blah. What I can't think of a good example. I don't want to give you a bad one. So you want to put some kind of a sentence or two about in that role that he's been a human resource consultant or a human resource comp benefits manager. He is known for, this is kind of like a legacy statement, known for this kind of thing, one or two accomplishments. Don't get too carried away. It's all on your resume. You can follow up with your resume, but something that goes, ooh, that's cool. He did the total re-engineering of the employee benefit system. Oh, that's cool. I want to know more. Bait. And so then that's the positioning paragraph. Excuse me. Sorry. The second paragraph is most recent job. If you are not employed, you still have a who am I? I am this and I have accomplished this, but it may be that your last job was, this is where you would put the title or the company or the role of the job you were just in. Now that is making an assumption that's the kind of job you want to go for. So be careful that if your last job is not in alignment, the way that Paula was talking about storytelling, if your last job is not in alignment with what you're looking for, then you want to craft that paragraph aiming at what you're looking for. And it can take some creative work. You can't hide behind the fact that you had ABC job, but how can you cherry pick out of a ABC job the kinds of things that tee you up well for the job you want? So this is not something somebody is going to go, well, in that job, you mainly did this. Well, but did you do the other? And were you proud of it? And was that exciting? And was it successful? So come on, sell yourself here. So that's the second paragraph. If you are in a job, this would be where you would say, currently as director of finance at ABC company, Mina has the responsibility for the annual planning and strategic plan. She works directly with the board of directors and the treasurer, blah, 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 blah. So that's a little broader description of what your current job is, or it might be your most recent job. The nature of the business, summary of kind of what, and this is summary of responsibilities. It doesn't mean every single thing you did. And I wouldn't even put that on your resume. Cherry pick what goes on your resume, cherry pick what goes in your bio, nature of the business, what you were responsible, and most importantly, a stunning accomplishment, something you are most proud of. It could be one or two, but cherry pick something that is, and it's right there, best aligned with your objective. Sell yourself for what you want, not just what somebody else said. But Mina, you were great doing this in that job. Mina, you were a great controller. Well, I don't want to be a controller anymore. So yeah, I was a hell of a good controller, but I don't want to be a controller. I want to do this other thing. So you don't have to do just what the job was, but highlight the things that you're proud of that do align. I might have been a good controller, but I was also a team leader. My team was the best team we had, and I am most proud of having recruited and retained and developed what the company largely saw as one of the best teams in the company. So something like that. Yeah, I could still be an accountant, but I can lean into some other areas of what I do that would be relevant for my job search. Third paragraph, everything else. And I want to check time here. Jeff, what time are we aiming at finishing? 15 after, 10 after?
Yeah, 15 after would be good.
Okay, good. So that third paragraph is, prior to being the controller, Mina served as the director of finance for a transportation company, Ryder System, and prior to that, she served in a variety of roles from public accounting to auditing at a mining company. I mean, you just lump it all in there. And you just give the span. The thing that's important about your resume and also in your bio is if you have a brand name company, when I say impressive prior employer, like a company that every household would know. Everybody knows Exxon. Everybody knows Apple. Everybody knows, anyway, I'm running out of examples. But the companies that are brand name, then you want to sprinkle those in there. Now, for me, as an example, most people know Price Waterhouse now, Price Waterhouse, PwC. But back in the day, my very first professional job, very first one right out of college, I was an accounting major, and I went to work for Price Waterhouse. Everybody knows Price Waterhouse. Not everybody knows Amex. Not everybody knows Ryder System. Not everybody knows some of these other companies I work for, but they do know Price Waterhouse. So when you sprinkle in a name brand, it gives you pedigree. And so my third sentence, the very end of my third sentence probably says she has held a range of jobs in accounting and finance from aerospace and began her career at Price Waterhouse. So yeah, that was 40 years ago, but I might sprinkle it in there if it's pedigree. That's the only reason to go back that far. And you don't need to, it's just a name drop. It's one of those little name drops. But don't go back that far unless there's a specific reason you would do so. I might even not do it today because I'm as far away from accounting as you could find, but it's still on my resume because it's pedigree. And then the last sentence of the third paragraph is something like I just said. She started her career at blah, 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 or she started her career in IT, or she started her career, blah, blah, blah. So you can play around with that. The last paragraph is credentials. This is where you would typically, now in any kind of literature, those of you who took English, if we took grammar and writing, if we took writing in middle school or high school, or even sometimes in college, you know that there are two important positions in a paragraph. I hope you guys know this. The most important position in a paragraph is the first sentence. That's your topic sentence. And your topic sentence in general is the most important sentence in a paragraph. It's the paragraph that it's the sentence that the whole paragraph is wrapped around. The second most important position, and you can put your topic sentence in the second position, and that it's at the very end. And that's a literary approach to bring your attention to that as like the summation of the paragraph. So topic sentence is first sentence or last sentence. So your most important credentials, whether it's your degree or a certification in, or you speak 15 languages or whatever that most important credential is, needs to be the first sentence, no matter what. Or it needs to be the last sentence. Now, I prefer the first because, again, somebody might not read fully to the bottom, but it can go either place because a bio, like I said, is 300-400 words. You're going to get through it pretty easily. So you put your credentials there. Usually you would start with college degrees, but like I said, it might be something else. It might be a recent certification in AI technology, or, recently achieved her master certification in blah, blah, blah. Whatever that is that's aligned to the job you want would be that first sentence. Typically, it would be credentials in the form of a college degree, and you start with the newest, biggest ones. So if you have a PhD, a master's degree, 2 bachelor's degree, or you studied at a Harvard, or you studied at UNT for music or whatever, you put that up front. And then you kind of list the rest after in declining order of importance. But don't go past college or junior college unless there's something really important in maybe your high school situation, you did international travel or whatever. But that first sentence is where the pay dirt is. You can use some common designations, MBA, BBA, MSA, PhD. You can use those. And the more you can save that digit, that's going to count in your characters. The more you can save that using acronyms and degrees, shorthands are good. But be careful if you've got a degree that might have multiple meanings. And I ran into this with a client a few years ago where they had an MM degree. And I'm thinking, what is that? And my sister, by the way, is a musician. So I'm immediately thinking masters in music or something. And then there's ministry and there's management and there's mathematics and there's all these. So be sure you spell that out if it's something that could be a common set of initials or designation to something else, just so that you're clear. And then in this last paragraph, you would select any certifications, awards. If you do a blog, if you do a Substack, if you have your own podcast, if you're a regular contributor to maybe an industry magazine. By the way, all those things, if you haven't done any of those things, look at what you might like to do to get kind of some notoriety out there. Be a guest contributor and offer an article once a month for something, or be a guest on a podcast. Who are some people you know that maybe are doing some of this? God, love them. I can't even imagine the process, but you could be a guest. You could talk to people. You could do some speeches. If you've given a speech, do that. In languages, of course, and then to the extent that your community activities are really high-end, leadership quality, important for your audience. Everything on this document is your audience, and that's what matters. So that's the last paragraph. So boom, 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 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, and that's what it is. So let me show oops, I think I went too far. Okay, that's an example. And obviously this is like the world's worst slide ever, right? Because you can't read any of it. It's teeny weeny. But I just wanted you to get an impression of them. So this is not for reading, it's for a 5,000-foot view impression of what a bio might look like. Now, I will tell you, I have seen sexier bios, a lot sexier bios these days, and people are getting really good at making it. This is plain vanilla, plain vanilla. But listen, if you don't do plain vanilla, you can't go to the next level. You got to get a plain vanilla one done. So you've got all the raw content that you've really forced yourself into the process of doing it. So you know what the key essential ingredients are. And then you can play with spicing it up. Now, I wouldn't go crazy with pictures and emojis and silly stuff. I wouldn't do that. But it really depends on your audience. What do they expect to see? If you're in a creative field, would they expect to maybe see a creative design for this document, an interesting font for the headline? There's so many ways you can make this interesting and not boring, but you got to start with the plain vanilla. I just promise you, this is where it starts. And then at the bottom, you see an email, a phone number. And then sometimes you might put a footer that says it's as of March the 28th, down at the bottom. I probably wouldn't, but you need to keep a version code on the file so you know which version you're working from. So if you're going to create a couple of different versions, maybe one for more IT network management and another for more IT program management, then you might have two different bios and two different resumes, but you sure need to code them correctly in your file management system so that you can quickly get the right one. But you can play with this and I'll show a format for another document just in a minute so you can get a visual idea. So I'm not going to pound on this, but I just say with caution. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm losing my voice. I was at a week-long conference and I led it last year. Last week. I'm the president of the Texas Coaches Coalition, and we had a 4-day conference, and I spoke nonstop for 4 days. I almost couldn't even say a word on Monday. You know me, Jeff. So I would just say you would not, do not include these things on your bio unless it is important and meaningful to your audience. So if you are going for a job in a faith-based organization, a church, a temple, a synagogue, then that is important to your audience and probably should be somewhere in your bio, but particularly in your credentials paragraph. Actively participates in Temple Emmanuel as their contributing to their day school, or whatever is relevant. That should be there. But unless it is a faith-based job you're looking at, the same thing with political, the same thing with anything that you might consider a hot button where people might react. You do not put it in your resume. You do not put it in your bio. You leave it out. Don't put it on your LinkedIn. Stay off that stuff because you want to keep it as neutral as possible. And you just don't know if there's somebody that might be instrumental in hiring you who might react in a negative way to whatever that is. And there's no point in it. Just keep it neutral. Interests and hobbies. Now, this is hotly debated. And you are not going to find two people with the same opinion. I do not believe it is for a printed job search related bio. So I'll be specific there. For a bio that's related to your job search, I do not think it's necessary or even useful, and I think it's negative to put things in there about your hobbies and interests and things like your personal life. You know, I'm married and have 2 kids and 3 dogs and 4 cats. I mean, that does not belong in a job search document. I mean, first of all, they're not really supposed to ask you those things anyway. So why would you tee them up on your resume or your bio? And it just shouldn't be there. Now, I do have an exception, which is I have seen bios that are written not for job search, but for speaker introductions. Like if I were being introduced, or maybe introductions for a panel, or something on a website. You know, you want to put something that gives them a little personal a bling for your website. That's fine. If that's a marketing role and you want to make yourself more personable in that situation, I think some people do that and do it successfully. I've generally avoided it all my career. But I do think there are some applications of that are fine. But just if they're not supposed to ask you some of these things legally, then why would you ante it up on a bio? I think it's safer not to. And then hobbies, interests, etc. If you were on the Olympic equestrian team, then hell yeah, put that on there. And that's something that's big. If you made the finals in a world competition of chess, yeah, put that in there. But if it's not something of pedigree nature, leave it off. Okay. So the foundation bio is what we've been talking about. That's that plain vanilla, 4 paragraphs, foundation bio. That's what the whole second chapter of that yellow book is. How to put together your foundation bio. 4 paragraphs, header, a headshot, a footnote, and that's it. But now think how many other things you can do with your bio. And if I were there in person, I'd probably just have people throw some ideas up. Can you guys unmute, and those in the room, throw some things up that you might do once you've got a foundation bio? What would you do with it beyond having that foundation bio? What are some ideas?
Anybody online, you're welcome to unmute your mic. Or we've got the mic here if you want to speak up.
Oh, I'm going to just wait. I guess we'll just wait until somebody has one idea. For goodness sakes, you guys.
Good morning. This is
Good morning.
one of my dreams has always been to establish a scholarship at my alma mater at the University of Missouri in Columbia in honor of my parents, who were both musicians. And to me, that was one of my, bucket list pieces. And one of my friends said, people with money are always looking to invest in a good scholarship or something like that. And although I'm looking for a job now, I thought this was a way that I can involve fellow musicians, because people love good music all the time, and at the same time talk to others about this goal or dream I have and how it would be relevant to the music universe in Missouri and or possibly locally developing other scholarships.
Yeah. So would we, in that scholarship application, don't take that mic away just yet. In that scholarship situation, whose bio are you referring to?
Well, currently, we would be with the Plano Civic Chorus, and then in the future, it would be my experience at the University of Missouri, being in the chorus, being in the select chorus, being in marching band and music with.
Okay, so you're talking about your bio.
Yes, I'm talking
And
about.
so you would highlight your the depth of your engagement with the choral universe.
Yes.
And you could highlight, by the way, I used to sing at PCC.
Ah, okay.
I did before Ralph retired.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah. So, so your bio that would establish your seniority, your presence, your engagement, and you could pepper those into your bio. That would be an excellent application.
Wonderful.
And I would say you could create a little template for some of your musician colleagues and help them create their own little mini bios. Okay, who else? Other thoughts?
Don, I saw you unmute your mic. Do you have a comment?
Well, yeah, I'm taking a little bit different spin with what I'm doing with this because of where I'm at currently, my current position. And I see I'm a bridge builder, Mina. So I bridge gaps, find holes, and I can drill down and build successes within that and solve serious problems. And one of the things that's caught my attention and is pulling me back into this arena is the cybersecurity and AI interjection. And you mentioned that earlier. There's a lot of dangers in what's going on. And so one of the things that I'm looking at is related to this. The bios there. In fact, I had a very good conversation with a gentleman that's in this space that I know real well, and that was the opportunity that I was talking about today. Because my basic thread and strength in this is that I am a process and governance person. So everything that happens comes back down to internal control, protection, and process.
Yeah.
And so somebody stepped outside the process anytime there's one of these holes that are created within the corporation. I'm extremely good at doing that. In fact,
Don,
yes.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to be sure we're minding our time. So Don, what I'm hearing is that your bio can weave a really powerful thread between internal controls, process excellence, threats, cybersecurity threats, and how you said, I'm a bridge builder. How do you make sure you connect the proper dots and keep the wrong dots from connecting or something of that nature? So you can really create some interest in your bio with something like that.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Because I worked for 3 top 50 global corporations in my career.
And those are name droppers, right? You want
like
to name drop those in your bio.
Monsanto Alcon, which is owned by Nestle. and
We got it.
and HP.
We got it. I saw another hand go up just a second ago on the internet.
Steve, you had,
Oh, there, Steve. Yeah.
So I've used bios. Usually I've been, when I'm asked to do one for a speaking engagement, and I've done it academically, but I've never used them outside of that. I never heard of them for networking or for job seeking. And so I'm like, how do you use it that way? I've never been asked for it that way.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that next, and make sure I'm not gonna run by it. Yeah. Well, let me just answer it before I go to the rest of this slide. What I recommend is when you're networking. So first of all, bravo that you have a bio already, that you've used it in a variety of applications. I would tell you, as you build your foundation bio, there are two more that I use all the time. I mean, I use 3 different bios. One is a more complete one that I use in my marketing. It's on my website. It's got the 4 paragraphs. I've juiced it up a little bit. Then there's another one that's about half that, like let's say 150 to 200 words. And I use that if it goes into a program where I'm speaking, like this past week, it goes into the program. It's not as long. You don't want 300 words on a program. You want a little one, but you don't want a little baby one. You want enough to give you the credentials that if she's presenting on this program, then she's got the chops to do it. So you want about 100 to 150 word mediums. This is daddy bear, mama bear, and baby bear. So then a medium-sized bio. And then on top of that, you want the baby bear bio. You want a little bitty blurb. And that's the hardest one to write because you got to start with the big one, move it down to the medium-sized one, and then have a little baby one. And the baby one is when somebody gets up to a podium, and I didn't send this to Walter and Jeff last night. I just barely got anything done last night, so I apologize, you guys. But a little baby introduction so that somebody who's going to the podium who says, next, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker this afternoon. Mina Brown is, and it cannot be more than just 3 or 4 sentences, and they need to be short and sweet. They don't need to be hard to say. They need to be easy for anybody, even if they don't know you from Adam, to be able to read that and sound like they do know you and read it from the podium and then say, Mina, welcome, come on up and talk to this gang. So you need 3. Daddy bear, mama bear, and baby bear, 3 different bios. Now, no matter what, whether you're job search or internal, and you said you have a job and you've used it for these others, but networking, what do you use in networking? Now, that doesn't mean you hand it out, but what you can do, yeah, now, ding, 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 right? So you exchange card. So I'm there with you in the meeting there, or you're at a meeting with some people from your company or from outside your company. You're going to get their business card. And by the way, you don't just collect business cards. This is not the point of networking. The point of networking is spend about 2-3 minutes eyeball to eyeball, paying attention to that other person. What is it that they want to tell you? Be a good listener, share a little bit, but then hand them your business card, get their business card, and as soon as you get a minute, right on the back of their business card, send my bio. So you're going to take their email address, and after the meeting, you're going to follow up with, Steve, it was so delightful to meet you. I loved having our conversation about what's happening at the Cowboys, and let's just hang on for the fall season, blah, blah, blah. And for your files, for your records, just to give you a little more information about me, you send them your bio. And that's it. Just to give you a little more information about my background, you send them your bio. Now, the other thing that I've learned recently, and I kind of knew this, but when you're in a networking role, if you go into networking without an ask, you've blown it. You need an ask. And I know Career DFW preaches this. What is your ask? And it might be as simple as maybe we could meet for a cup of coffee in a few months. Or I understand that you were very active on such and such committee, or using Don's information. I understand that I do a little research on people I care about, and did they write something? Have they been featured somewhere, or what's on their LinkedIn? What do they tell me on their LinkedIn? Man, LinkedIn makes the world go round, I'll tell you. And so I will look up somebody and then say, well, I've noticed that you serve on the cybersecurity committee of your company. I wonder if we could have a conversation. I'd love to compare notes about what the biggest risks are that you're observing. A purpose for meeting somebody, a purpose for following up with somebody, but don't spend 15 minutes of a 45-minute networking with one person. Their point is find 4 or 5 you can talk to, get their business card, follow up with an email, because one meeting is not a relationship. A relationship is more than one meeting, and it's also quid pro quo. So we could talk all day about networking, but you got to have an ask and you got to do your job, which is write on the back of their business card, send them my bio, and then what it is: cybersecurity issues, human resource challenges. What is it that you want to follow up? That's the way I use a bio. Does that make sense, Steve? Good. All right, here's a whole bunch of different bios, and I mentioned a couple of them already. So sometimes a company will have an executive profile. They're often used on an internal web page where, you go to the About Us side, and then in there is board of directors or company leadership or something like that. So typically there's going to be something there about the leaders. And if it's not on the public website, it might be on an internal page, or it might be something where you're part of a community activity and you serve on a committee of the board, or you're on the board or whatever. So that executive profile is a little shorter version of a foundation bio, but it emphasizes what that executive responsibility is. It gives that a little more weight. LinkedIn profile, man, it is about you and your LinkedIn profile. That about me is a section that there's a limited number of characters, so you've got to play with it sometimes. And if you're not using every single last character, you've sub-optimized your space. So use every single character available to you, but split it up into some paragraphs. It's a little tricky even now to put some graphics like a check mark or a bullet, but you can do it. There are ways to do it. Make your profile on LinkedIn sing your song. Sing your song. And that is where you start with your foundation bio, and then you fluff it up for your LinkedIn profile. Same thing on a website. You're going to have a page on a website. If you're doing business where you're going to be included in a business proposal, let's say you're one of 5 people on a team that is going to be doing some project management or some consulting work, you got to have a bio to put in that proposal, and it needs to be kind of consistent with the framework of the bio that the other people are using in a proposal. Or if it's just you, it's just you. You get to do whatever you want. If you serve on a board, or if you're a candidate for a board, it might be a nonprofit board or a for-profit board or a small company or advisory role. When I say board, it could be an advisory board. You need a specific bio that's aimed at a board bio, and Paula is genius at this. It is a board bio emphasizes your custodial or your leadership of leaders, and that is your role as kind of oversight. We won't go too much there. You might have, like in a proposal, sometimes a proposal is presented to the candidate or to the vendor or to the, excuse me, to the customer as a PowerPoint presentation. So there may be a printed binder with all the bios and everything in the proposal, but then you may have a PowerPoint presentation where your bio is being presented. And you just want to pick out the 4, not more than 5 bullets that you want to emphasize. And if you've done your foundation bio, you know what those bullets need to be. So that just feeds right into your PowerPoint bio. And PowerPoint bio, don't waste your time with a picture because you don't have a lot of space. And you don't want to have a PowerPoint like that awful plain vanilla one that I did. Podium introduction, we've talked about a seminar brochure where it might be a little bit of a description of who the presenter is or the panelist. And then if you're in a service business or you do offer a service, maybe as a side gig, or maybe that's a business you want to start or you're thinking about starting, there's a service business approach to doing a bio that's a little bit more of a marketing document. So it can color outside the lines a little bit. You can add some pictures, you can play with color and format and some other stuff. So that isn't even that's not the universe even of all the different things that you can do with a bio. If you have a profile on Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, we've already talked LinkedIn, any social media that you are active on will have a section for your profile. Fill it out. Don't leave that blank. Put your picture up there. I mean, I even put my picture on my Google page. So if somebody pulls up my Google Gmail, they can see the picture. People need to know who you are. This is what it does for you. It gets you notoriety and gets you known, and it gives you a tool to do it. So here's a couple of examples, and I haven't had a chance to update these. You can see I have longer hair, so those pictures were taken like 3 years ago. I've let my hair grow out for 1.5 years, and I've got new pictures, but I didn't have time to update my slides. But these are an example, and I had to chop off the about because in LinkedIn right now, you go to LinkedIn, and if you look right underneath that is a section that you can't take down, and it's kind of their format. But then right beneath that second section is the about, and that's your pay dirt. That's where you want to put your profile. Now, a big difference, and the reason I put it up on the screen here, we're out of time. Sorry. I'm almost done. I put it on the screen because I recommend, and I didn't believe this 5 or 10 years ago, put your about on LinkedIn in first person. Now, I didn't mention this earlier. Your bio should always be in third person. Mina did this. She is that, was that, had that. Whatever. That's third person and generally past tense. In your about section, absolutely change that to first person. Make it friendlier. So if you read my professional bio, which is over here on the right-hand side, kind of my marketing flyer, it says something like, few professional coaches have the depth of executive leadership experience, masterful coaching reputation, all-around credentials and positive impact that Mina Brown does. So that's third person. That's my essence statement. And if you go to my LinkedIn, and I need to do some work on it, my clients are. So remember topic sentence? Your topic sentence on your LinkedIn profile is what the first thing you want people to know about you, and write it in first person. Don't start with your history. Don't start with all the boring stuff. Put something juicy in there. Say something like, students from my program, and I've got to rewrite this because I've actually started writing some things like this. Students from my programs tell me I've changed their life. Now that's pretty cool. Would you want to know more? How? What? How'd she do that? So put something in there that's catnip, baby. Put something in there that just makes somebody want to know who you are. So then the second document, and I'm wrapping up, the second document is what I consider my professional bio. Now, it is in the process of being updated because I don't do any coaching anymore. I am only teaching. I do only teaching. So this still has a flavor of coaching, and that needs to be revised. But as back in the day, a few years ago, I was doing a lot of coaching. And so I put my bullets, extensive coaching experience with executives, senior professionals, and business owners, all the way down to outstanding sense of humor that helps lighten the load. Now that adds a little pop, a sense of humor. Don't you want to work with somebody who's got a daggum good sense of humor? So, and some other things, popular speaker, etc. So I put those bullets up there to try, if somebody only reads the bullets, they'll get the essence of what I want to communicate. Then I have my bio sections on the right-hand side in that white space. And then on the left, and this also needs to be updated, I've got 4 quotes from customers, and these were coaching customers, coaching clients. And social influence, social pressure is a great way to advertise who you are, is to let somebody else say it about you. So look for those quotes, look for something your employees used to say, look for something your customers used to say, and pepper those quotes in there because that gets attention. Okay, so Jeff already mentioned the books. The B-Sharp book was updated just a few years ago. It's in its 2nd edition. And it is it's tell me about yourself. And it is about bios, section 2, and then section 3 and 4 are specific applications of bios. So it's kind of a how-to book. And then the second one is a collection of about 60 essays in what to do in career search, planning, interviewing, how to talk about money, all of those things. So that's it, Jeff. I'm a few minutes over, and I'm happy to take questions if you have any. And I hope you guys felt that this was useful.
Useful? A lot of shaking heads here.
Yes, I see it. I see a couple of thumbs and a few nods.
Yes. Mina, thank you very much. It's just a shame you're not more motivational, it's just sort of, no, very good. Thank you very, very much. Are we able to share your presentation with everybody who?
Absolutely.
If you would send it to me, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I would say, and I didn't, and I'm going to have this next year, Jeff, if I come back next year. I've signed up for an AI program. Don, you'll appreciate this. I've signed up for it to tell me more about how to use it. What I'm building is a set of prompts that will help people write their resume and their bio. And it'll give them answer to these prompts. And then you have ChatGPT write your first paragraph, and then a new set of prompts for your second paragraph, and then ask ChatGPT to write your second paragraph. So it's a good way to kind of prime the pump. It's never going to be perfect. You got to edit the hell out of it, but it gets that AI genius working for you in a way that can be extremely effective and efficient. Yeah.
You're automatically invited back next year. So whenever you're,
Hey, Mina, we don't have to wait a year for those prompts, do we?
Well, I'll let you know when I have them, but I think that would be so easy to do, honestly. I'm just learning a lot in this class about all the different ways to use AI in a way that is legal. You got to watch copyright infringement and some other things. It is efficient. It can't just blurt out and then all of a sudden, but the more you use it, it learns your voice and it learns your audience and it learns a lot about you the more you use it. So if you're not using any AI, or if you're not familiar with ChatGPT, they have free versions. Play around with it. Just play around with it.
Kathy asked, what AI class are you taking?
It's in the coaching arena. So this one is being led by Lisa Ann Edwards, she is most well known in the coaching world for really advocating for coaching ROI. How do we measure the benefits and value of coaching? So I've taken that class with her, which is great. So now she's introducing all the different ways we can use AI in coaching applications. And even though I'm not coaching, I'm teaching coaches. So I want to teach coaches how to better incorporate AI in ROI measurements, tracking accomplishments, tracking accountability, and in doing things that they do in their coaching world. So that's a class I'm taking.
All right. Well, Mina, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. If anybody out there wants to receive today's material, make sure you've got your email address in the chat. And for those here in person, make sure legibly we can read your email address on the sign-in sheets when you walked in. Whoop, let's see here. Come on, computer. Here we go. Career DFW and careerusa.org, two free websites that are totally there to help you in your job search. We'll talk just a second about the calendar. It's where you can find all the meetings that are out there. Some of the meetings you'll find are listed twice because they're once listed under webinars and once listed in person. So you'll find the North Dallas group listed that way. You can also view it in the agenda mode, which sometimes is easier to use because it's less cluttered. You can click on any one of those titles and it will give you all the details that we have. So I'll share as much information as it provided to me, I will share with you. On the Career USA YouTube channel, we have over 660 videos right now. Career USA YouTube channel. Click on playlist and up will come a menu that looks similar to this. And then don't click on the video because it'll start the most recent video posted. But if you go down the bottom where it says view full playlist, click on that and up will come a list of all the different dates and titles. You can see Mina's presentation from last year. You can see Paula Asanoff's presentation. Oh, hers isn't out there, but others that are the speakers have allowed us to do, they're all posted there. You can go back and look at your convenience. Coming up Tuesday, Locke Alderson will be with us to talk about how to use LinkedIn for job hunting strategies that get results. Locke will be with us next Tuesday at 1 o'clock online. Next Wednesday, the practice interview team is meeting in person again. So if you want to see an interview, watch an interview, you can come watch and learn by watching other people being interviewed. Next Friday, being the first Friday of the month, we will do open forum. We'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. So come with your questions. We can talk more about bios. We can talk about interviewing. It's all open. All the topics are open. So you can come join us next Friday for that.
Yeah, also next Saturday, Ron Layton, who is the leader of the pit crew, is going to be here and partake. And so you'll hear, he wants to share some information, is offered to share some information. And so we're going to use the open forum for him to accomplish and do that. So Ron will be a special sub-guest for our open forum.
Right. And then coming up on the 11th, accountability groups with Clayton Stockdahl. It's a great presentation, how to start one, what you should be discussing in your accountability group. And then on the 18th, Roast Recruiter with Rick Martinez. He's the owner of R2 Technologies and just a wealth of some great information. Today, come join us at 11:45, Jason's Deli. As we get out of here, we're going to go have lunch. So come join us there. How many people think they're going to come so we know how big a table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 or 10. Maybe a couple of people online will come join us too. We'll be there, Jason's Deli at 11:45 this morning. All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. If you want to join the Career USA mailing list, you can scan a that QR code on the right-hand side. If you want to make a donation to Career DFW to keep this organization going, you can click on the thing on the left when you land your next opportunity. Comment? Yes, the chat will go out to everybody today. Everybody who I will send the chat today's presentation and the latest update of the contact.
And one more had a few things I wanted to share real quick before we get out of here. First, I wanted to remind people that don't have target companies to go on the Career USA YouTube channel and watch the video where Mike Ray and Pete Hernandez present about a tool called Reference Solutions. And it's a great tool to use to help you find target companies. And second, I wanted to remind everybody there's a YouTube channel out there called A Life After Layoff. Lots of useful information that's job search related there. It's a great YouTube channel to find a lot of answers to your job search questions, and I'm sure it'll be very helpful. And finally, I wanted to remind people that a week from tomorrow, the St. Jude Career Alliance is having their next career transition workshop. And so you can sign up for it by going to stjudecareeralliance.com. And it's a $25 cost of attendance, will last all day. On this next one will be April 5th, again, a week from tomorrow. And it takes place at St. Jude Catholic Church in Allen. And it's a very good workshop, and I know Walt really, and someone Walt knows very well is actually going to be presenting at this upcoming one. So yes, the $25 cost of attendance includes a book that they provide you for the workshop, as well as lunch, snacks, and beverages throughout the day. So again, if you're interested in learning more and signing up, go to stjudecareeralliance.com. Again, it'll be at St. Jude Catholic Church in Allen. So that's my announcements. Thank you guys very much.
Everybody have a great week, and next week.